And that's how you royally fuck yourself up in the head. That's how you do it. But if you start out on that path and you don't take it to the bitter end, you get stuck somewhere in the middle, and you just accept whatever point you're stuck at, whether it's there's a God, or whether it's we are all gods, or whatever. You get stuck at that point and you think that you found the end, or you think you found truth, and no one can tell you any different. I took it to the end, well, as far as I've ever taken it, to demonstrate how incoherent things get there after a while. I mean, you can only really go so far with it before you begin to realize that nothing about the unknown, I mean, it's unknown because you don't know it. That's the whole point. You're guessing, you're taking stabs at what might be, you're imagining, you're fantasizing. Religion is fantasy. Belief in a deity, belief that we are all cosmically connected. These are fantasies. Whether there is some truth to them, whether there is some underlying truth, we don't know it. We can only guess at it. And if all you're doing is guessing at it, it's a fantasy. It's not based on evidence. It's not based on facts. I had a friend, elderly friend, back when I lived in Alabama, that she had she had a loss of vision in a large portion of the right side of her right eye. She couldn't see anything beyond just a little bit past center going over. It was just, there was nothing there. She couldn't see anything of the real world. And her brain, her mind had placed a beautiful image for her of a lake with the water glistening and green grass around it and trees and flowers. And her mind had created this for her because this was something that was beautiful to her. And I mean, she couldn't very well have this big area over here that her mind replaced with what it thought might be the real world, because then she couldn't have driven like that. I mean, she'd have been running off the road. She wouldn't have been able to see anyone on her right side at all, and she wouldn't have even realized that she wasn't seeing anyone on her right side, because that's what the mind does. You have a hole in on both sides of your eye that you don't have any vision in. It's the point where all the nerves where all the nerves in the eye come together and head in, the optic nerve, and head into your brain, wherever that goes to. You can't see anything there, but you see stuff there. The only time that you don't see anything there, or the only time that you realize you're not seeing anything there, is if something that you know is in front of you gets right in the middle of this spot in either of your eyes, and it'll disappear. You won't see it, and but it's still there. It hasn't gone anywhere, but you don't see it. What you see instead is your brain's average between the surrounding area, averaging all of that out and creating an image that it thinks is correct. It doesn't remember that something was moving into that spot. It only sees the surrounding area and averages that out to create an image that's believable to you. That's the way the mind works. And it's the same thing if you're delving into religion or philosophy or anything like that. Where the thoughts go, the mind will follow. Because that's the way it works. If you go into believing that there is a God, if you approach religion accepting that there is a God waiting for you there, you're going to experience that. You're going to see that, because you've already got your thoughts going in that direction, and the mind is going to produce need to convince you that you're right, so that you'll be right. That is the way that it works. It's confusing sometimes, but if you've ever gone down that path that I just went down, and you made it all the way to the end, you probably have a pretty good understanding of exactly what I'm talking about. If you start out believing something, your mind will make it true for you. Your mind will find truth in it. You start out, when the lights go out, believing that something's going to get you, and your mind produces the images that will make you believe that you were right. That's probably all I need to go on this one. Anyway, I can go a lot deeper in this if I wanted to. At some point, I've had visions during these little escapades, these little adventures that I go on in my mind. They do produce visions because you're putting your mind in a completely different mindset, and that can open up channels into your subconscious that normally are closed. It can open up possibilities to your subconscious to explore. I'll give you one real quick. 6 minutes, roughly 6.5 minutes. I'll give you one real quick. When I first went through this process and made it to the end, I had a vision of something that I believe is probably similar to what the writer of the Eden story had. It was an angel type character. Approached me and offered unlimited wealth. I mean, anything I wanted, everything would go really well for me, and I'd be happy and content, and I would have no problems, no worries. And out of a little pipe sticking out of the wall there, a lizard poked his head out and said, "If you choose my way, you will be miserable much of the time. You will have rough times. You will not be happy most of the time, but you will gain more knowledge and more experience as a result." What if Adam and Eve made the right choice in that myth? What if the proper choice was the one that led towards knowledge? What if the other choice, the choice that kept them in the garden, just had led to no end at all except just eternal emptiness? I mean, how can your life be full if all you're doing is the same thing day in and day out, with no adventure, no doubts, no questioning, just accepting everything at face value as it is, unquestioning? Anyway, that's it.